So we got 4 varieties just from the local store. They were Hokkaido-based varieties.
We wanted to plant so many things. So once we get the product, oh, let's plant this and this and this. But basically, we took the very simple approach. We will grow what the people is growing around, and we get the seedlings what were available, seedlings, and the potatoes available. So we didn't search complicated things like bringing seeds from somewhere else. So basically, this year was very straightforward, following local advice and local input seeds also, like this one, selling nearby.
Yeah. And then, as Adrian was explaining, we split it into 4 rows, 90 centimetres wide, 30 centimetres in between, and then so you can sort of see it a bit higher. Planted tomatoes, and potatoes. One of the things that was really important for us was that we got other people involved. So we had a planting day, and we had a couple of the little kids come around to plant, and that was really fun because you could see that Nozomi was getting right into it, and so we wanted to expose the kids to the planting, but also to bring more people into understanding how and what and so on. So Nava, for example, up there goes, oh, I could do this, and planted some potatoes in his backyard as well.
So we just mix the soil with manure, with compost, and then plant, and then cover the straw mulch. That's it. We didn't do anything else after that.
So just a side note, so the straw acts as ground cover, so it prevents the weeds from growing, but it also keeps the water from evaporating underneath the soil. So you use less water.
And again, the bed is high, so if it's too much water, it will drain. So, very simple.
We took a few readings, and for us this year, just generally with the technology, it was a learning curve on how we need to be more diligent about when and how we do it, what the process is, and have that much more standardized so that we can kind of protect the data integrity. We kind of were just sticking it around and trying to getting a few ideas, but I think that was really good.
Later we'll mention more detail.
Yeah. So these are the potatoes growing. And one of the things I realized was that as I started to see the plants die off, that actually that's what you want them to do, because I didn't realize that the potato plants died. So, but it was really, really satisfying when they did die, because then you could harvest. And that's really fun, because you're like digging in to see where they are. So we got, I think it was about 30
kilos. It was such, for us, very productive. As I say, the work invested was so little, and the harvest was so huge. It's very, very, very good crop for us. This is the first one with no experience, just checking general ideas around. And it is really good crop. We are planning to do the winter ones very soon, and different potatoes.
And we also had a group come out from Hong Kong who helped to harvest as well. So we were trying to get other people to come and dig up the crops. The second method we used was raised beds, which is very common in permaculture. And we looked at different designs. So do you want to explain that?
Yes, it's basically the mix, like we put the cardboard at the bottom, because cardboard is carbon. Basically, it's carbon and green thing, nitrogen thing. So this makes a very nice combination for these systems. And we follow this arrangement, and the cardboard and straw and green leaves, everything around. And this is the manure, the compost, and finally the momigara. Momigara in this case, the momigara, as we explained, the rice, it works very nice, very good. It's like 10 centimeters. What I want to say, it was quite windy at some point, some days there, and some straw flower, but the momigara basically stays. It's a very interesting combination, this, because it was rotating, I observed, was rotating and it stuck somewhere, so didn't flow away. Everything is so light, but the strong wind works very well. It keeps in place. We're planning to use this more often, the momigara top. It works very well for these conditions.
Oh, and sorry, just one thing to say. So the purpose of those layers is the bottom, the cardboard, also prevents the weeds from coming in, and then the straw. What is the straw for?
Is to help the green things to compost, and also to finish the composting of on the top before the manure we used wasn't 100% composted. So after we build this, we wait like 2 weeks, something like that, to settle everything, and then we plant.
And also, it's basically like creating instant soil. So we didn't, we knew that it was rich in nutrients because it was coming from
As you
compost.
saw in the picture, we chose the corner, the last corner. It was the lowest part, the most compacted part, so we couldn't even enter the tool. So we didn't want to do anything. We just chopped the straw, leave it in place, and start building. So immediately, again, without trying to loosen the soil, what people do there is they start digging the roots one by one, and they take the roots and they start loosening the soil, making it softer. So we didn't do that because, in particular, that corner was very compacted, and the water was running there. Is the natural drainage for that in one point. So the reason we did this in that corner of the.
And this was the design. So you'll notice the keyholes. One of the reasons for the keyholes is so you can actually reach across and harvest. Oh, keyholes. I like the the other thing that we did, which to a lesser degree, but what they do in permaculture quite a lot, is have 30 centimetres to 40 centimetres as a walkway, and they'll create many edges because that's where you're maximising the amount of growing space. So it's a little bit of a jigsaw. We left some paths in there to get through to the rest of the plot and so on. And actually we didn't even use that end bed because we had too much stuff already. So we were planting things like tomato, eggplants, sweet pepper, strawberry, zucchini, goya, asparagus, lemon balm, lemon thyme, more goya, chili pepper and basil with it. So you can see us marking out. We use string as well as some iron rods. Marked out the plots. This is the layering aspect, the straw and then the leaves. You can see the keyhole shapes. Putting in the manure, there's the cardboard going down at the other end. Loading up more of the manure and levelling off with the momigara.
It was a small slope. Again, the water will follow the natural slope, but the top we keep horizontal, the top of the bed, so it was a sandwich, but it wasn't parallel to it was like this, to keep the horizontal level at the top, the reason.
Then we finished and we thought they looked beautiful. And we took some, just out of interest, just to sort of see whether there was any temperature differences between the upper beds and the lower beds. There kind of wasn't, but and then we got into the planting, and we were, the thing with the growing is that you're definitely to a timeline that's non-negotiable. So we were kind of trying to gather as many of the seedlings that we could, work out what would grow with what, and that's one of the things that we want to improve on is the companion planting. We had great success with the tomatoes, eggplant. The zucchini plant is huge, needs lots of room. The strawberries got crowded, so we didn't get so many strawberries. And so you can see now that it was a little bit late, but we built a trellis to help the tomatoes plants grow. And they're growing more and more, and you can start to see the harvest. That's what it looked like as of kind of maybe 2 weeks ago.
Tomatoes. This we learned because we planned, and they say we plan to do many things, and so, but then we became busy, we didn't come so often. the reason we choose also these methods, because basically you don't need to be there, basically. But in this case, this was a point that grow too big, especially the tomatoes. And we didn't trim on time. We didn't do proper management. But still, it was so wild, and it was so nice going into there for searching tomatoes. Oh, it was a nice gift and collecting. Oh, this was fun anyway. It wasn't on purpose, but we can do better. But in general, once, what can I say, maintenance is so little. We didn't need to do weed control. We didn't need to put watering maybe once at the early stage. So basically, again, once we build the beds, we just wait to harvest, basically. It's a really effective system also.
How about preventing insects?
Good question.
What we choose these systems, what we are searching for is diversity. You don't need many things to cooperate between each other, and also the idea is to help or avoid diseases. And we didn't plant some flowers. We wanted to plant as a barrier to contain. But later,
Yeah.
maybe you had some pictures
We
later.
had, there's a cucumber beetle, or it's known as sort of the cucumber beetle, which was everywhere just eating all the leaves. We tried different kinds of natural remedies, so garlic, strained a garlic solution. We tried a tomato solution, leaves, and then Noriko actually tried the Goya leaves, and that was effective.
Were very effective.
So the first two weren't so effective, but the Goya leaves were.
This, as you see, is not that big. This plot is it wasn't that big. And our idea, I always say, because worry, we have some insects. Yes, this is nature. Also, if you want to start being too worried about having no insects in your plot, you get very anxious, and it gets very complicated, because you put something and something else comes. So it's natural competition there. So yes, we lost some harvest, but I think very little, because after some point again, we couldn't eat everything we get. So what we learned is we softly control, doing more diverse crops, and also put some natural boundary to protect. So it's our learning, and just in these preparations.
Yeah, and there are plants or flowers that they recommend planting between the crops, because that will either attract other insects that then eat the bugs. So there's actually, and this gets back to the system idea, that if you think not just how to get rid of the bugs, but what ways that you might control them or still sort of manage so that you get a harvest, then it becomes something that eventually requires little maintenance and no chemicals and that kind of stuff. So, do you want to talk about the...
This is the technology part. There is something. Well,